Hey everyone, this is John again. I think I'm gonna start doing maybe a weekly update or a monthly update video just to, maybe a 5-10 minute video just to update everybody on what's going on and procedures and policies and, whatever's going on with case dismissed. I want to talk about, I've been doing a lot of consultations, and one of the main things I want to talk about is the car process. Everybody wants to discharge their car. And I need to post this, I'm gonna do this in this video, but I don't recommend doing the process for your main vehicle, your everyday vehicle, just for the risk of repossession, because you basically need to hide the car for a few months while you're fighting the bank, because they will repossess it if you just leave it out. So this really needs to be done with a secondary car, a fun car, something else you want to do that you can lock up with a camera on it and keep an eye on it while they're trying to repossess it. So just want to put that out there on the car process. It's easy to do this on a second vehicle, and if you can hide the vehicles. If you can't, I don't recommend the process. If it's your main vehicle, I don't recommend the process. And so yeah, just want to get that out there. And then also, when I'm doing these consultations, I like to get, I guess a profile of the person so I can help you come up with a better plan. Do you have a job? Is it W-2 or 1099? What's your credit score? What's your debt issue? What you're trying to do. Because like I said in previous videos of starting your journey in a better situation than, all these other processes. And I want to, talk more about myself, guys. I am not a guru. I am not some expert in finance, law. I'm not an expert in anything, but I am an expert in 10 years of doing all these processes you've seen on YouTube. And I'm really just bringing my experience of what works and what doesn't work to, the world of YouTube and Facebook and all that, and just helping people, not go through the bad and the ugly that, a lot of us go through when we learn this stuff. Money's fake, earth is flat, religion, Hollywood, government, whatever it is that leads you to this rabbit hole of money and, just life. It can be complicated. What do I do? Do I need a secure party creditor, UCCs, IRS forms, trust, LLCs, EINs, 98, EIN, all this stuff. And I've done it all. I've done 3 years of really hardcore exclusive equity, the UCC stuff, reclaim your securities, IRS stuff, all the trusts, silver dollars, post office stuff. I've got a trademark on my name with the federal government. I mean, I've got all this stuff, and none of it does anything for me. I learned that you just got to learn, a really good procedure and stop fighting every little thing. So like I said, my process is simple. Get your credit in order. I can help you with that. If it's already in order, great. If it's not, I can help you. Get trade lines. And I tell everyone, don't buy my trade lines. Get them for free. See if you have family or friends that have good credit card histories, and just ask to be an authorized user on their credit card. You get all their good history. It doesn't hurt them in any way. They can, they'll get a card in the mail. They can cut it and throw it away. But all their history goes onto you, so you can build your credit. And then go get 4, 5, 6, 7 personal loans, debt consolidation loans, unsecured personal loans for 10 to 20, 30 grand each, and get you a chunk of money that will pay off, your car or whatever you need, your credit card, pay down your credit cards, and use that money as capital to invest in assets that can make you income per year. So you can do this process, once every year or so, and get you, good capital to invest. And that's what this whole process and this whole, movement is about, is, making money. And so this is what I do, fix your credit, or if you have good credit, you get the loans. We send the coupon. We get the CUSIP for the coupon. We do the notice of subrogation to the banks. And then when they report it to your credit bureau, we clean it and take it off your credit. And that's it. Rinse and repeat. So then with the payment and the CUSIP process and the notice, what we're doing is we're putting the banks in a situation where we have proof that they accepted your form of payment, that they securitized it, and now we're claiming all the securities and accounting tied with that and giving them notice. We're basically expressing the trust. There's no implied trust anymore. It's expressed. They can't claim any abandoned securities or funds. So now we got the bank backed into a corner to where they can't sue you. If they do sue you, it would be an idiotic move because they would have to prove under penalty of perjury that they didn't do all that stuff, and no one's going to take that liability with their company. So we're putting the bank in a position where they're going to have to charge off and sell your debt to a third-party debt collector. And at that point, third-party debt collectors are really easy to deal with. And then you're not really fighting any court issues, with the bank. It's in their best interest to charge off your debt, write it off, and just go on about their business. And what's the good thing about these loans are, they're not reportable income on your taxes. So you don't have to report it. It's not income. And then you take it off your credit report, it never happened. So, and like I said, and it sounds too easy to be true, but I've been doing it for years, and it's just really that simple. It's just, you get on YouTube and you find all these people that just talk about this code, that code, UCC code, this state, federal court, lower court, and everyone's just fighting and fighting and fighting and arguing, and it's just exhausting. You have YouTube channels that all they do is argue with people that make comments and try to prove, commenters wrong. This is, I bring proof. I have this code. I blah, blah, blah. You know what? I'm not going to code you to death. I'm not going to ever give you a 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour video of just nonsense and just codes. And it's just straight procedures. It's just straight helping your situation, helping you invest. Like I said, I worked, and a little bit about me, I worked in the oil field for, 16, 17 years, all over the U.S., very successful, made a lot of money, and I'm a very successful individual. And I took my mindset of in my career to this. I found out what works. I found out what doesn't. I created a plan. I created a process. And for years, I was helping just friends and family. And so now I'm, on YouTube and Facebook and all that, and I have a process to help you. And really, this is really supposed to be a DIY system. Here's my videos. Here's my information. Just do it yourself. Here's the templates. Here's how you do it, A to Z. Get after it. You'll need my service to help get the CUSIP, to clean your credit, but everything else is there for you to use and repeat and do it over and over without me. Needing consultations or, needing guidance. I know some people just like to have that, consultation just for reassurance and little quick questions. But I mean, guys, I don't like doing criminal cases or IRS stuff. I mean, I do help people with criminal cases, but, this is really just about getting seed money and capital and fixing your life and less stress, creating income, and, stop fighting your cell phone bill, your electric bill, your water bill, your internet bill, your mortgage, your car payment, your insurance. Quit sending, 5 love letters a month and being stressed out and going to court and trying to do all this stuff. Just use your credit. This is the easiest way to access your credit, get your money, live your life. Like I said, if you have 4 credit cards and a car payment and you're having problems, get one big loan, pay those things off, discharge the loan. You have one thing to worry about. You've solved 5 issues with one thing. You're not fighting 6 or 7 things. You're not, stressed out. You're not studying. You're not researching. You're not watching all these videos. You're literally just accomplishing something. And, but so, yeah, and also be careful on YouTube who you watch. I mean, I know a lot of these guys. Some of them I know personally. Most of these guys don't do what they tell you that they're teaching you how to do. They just theorize, or they've done it and they've won a couple times, but they're not overly successful. They can't repeat it. And, honestly, another thing is most of these guys, just look at them individually. They're not, they don't look like someone I would want around my family. They're not very successful. They don't have their own homes. They've got junky cars. Or honestly, I think most of them are government agents. You have people who are 40 something years old. They have no back history. You can't research them. They're not married, no kids. They're weird. They got Tourette's. They're awkward. And also, if they've got 5 million followers and 20 million views, and they've got all this money and they're not very successful and they're weird, they're most likely a government plant. They're there to put you in, la la land and run in sand and getting you, off the path to living a good life by, manipulating you and thinking they're cool. There's, Brandon Joe Williams is one of them. He doesn't win a lot. He's a very weird guy. I tell everyone, watch his videos on mute and just watch him and let me know if you want to be around this guy. I mean, this is a weird guy with no history, nothing going on. It's a weird dude, very weird dude. I just don't feel like he's a organic, natural creature. I think he's very very created. There's a few guys I do like, and I feel like there's a lot of guys that have a lot of good information, but they're just spitting out codes. You got CUSIP, who just does these 5-hour long videos, and at the end of it, you just really get soothed by his voice. He's just got a really relaxing voice, but you don't get anything out of it. I mean, nothing, literally nothing. Joe Latuska, or I don't know how to say his name, he's got really good information. He just likes to argue with people and prove himself right. But at the end of the day, what am I doing by watching his videos? It's not helping me unless I have a criminal case or something like that. But I feel like he's starting to get into the help people make money, avenue of it. But before, it's just, here's rules, here's how it is, and I'm going to argue with everybody. I mean, that's fine. He's got good information. But, you need to learn to pick and choose information here and there. Not everything is worth your time. I've got 4 kids. I take care of 3 other kids. I take care of 7 kids every day. I've got 4 kids in private school. I've got a house. I've got a dog. I've got a wife. I've got friends. I've got, stuff to take care of. So I don't want to spend 4 hours, learning codes. I just want something that can better my life, better my situation, and put me on a path to getting there quickly, smoothly, without, risking getting in trouble, getting, this IRS stuff is just a recipe for disaster. UCCs can get you in trouble because I don't think anybody knows what they're doing. Trust is just a waste of time. I feel like all that stuff is just a waste of time. You can go backtrack once you have all this money, and if you have more time, because you've got money, you've got capital, got investments, you can go back and look at this stuff. But to start off, I think, this is just the easiest way to go about it. And I had a consultation the other day with a friend, and he had a 19-year-old son who's a year out of high school, doesn't know what to do. And, another investment idea, guys, right now, this is, if you live near a big city, go get you some, unsecured personal loans for, try to get you as much as you can. But let's say you get $50,000. Go buy you 4, $10,000 Honda Civics, Honda Accord, Toyota Prius, and put them on private, ride shares for Uber drivers or whatever. These cars can generate $1,000 a month. So with that loan, you can now generate, $3,000 to $6,000 a month starting out, and then just grow from there organically. And within a year, you could be making $10,000, $15,000 a month on capital that you discharged. You just used your credit. There's so many ways to make money. I day trade. I love to day trade, stock trading, investing. I've been doing it for, 10, 15 years on the side. I've got good months. I've got bad months, but, I use this capital to invest. And like I said, I started investing when the market was at like 9, 10,000. Now it's at 50,000. The best time to invest is right now. Just get to doing something, access your credit, access your capital. It's a few months it takes just to fix your credit, get it going, get some loans, get your life in order, and use that money wisely. Don't just get this money and buy a bunch of junk. Buy assets that generate you income. And like I said, guys, be careful what you do online. I just feel like a lot of stuff online is just a waste of time. I honestly don't watch a whole lot anymore just because I got a good system and I don't really need any more guidance. And a lot of the stuff is just codes and nonsense. And like I said, I'm never going to code you to death. This is just, there's so many ways to make money in this world. There's so many ways to access your capital. Right now, I'm working on starting an LLC and doing the credit card stacking, the 0% credit cards, try to get a bunch of those and get capital, to buy more cars or buy more assets. So I'm in the process of doing that. I think I'm going to start small with 1 to 2 cars and just see how it goes. And then, my goal is to, get to 50 to 100 cars, maybe have a car wash, mechanic shop, a whole, mini Hertz kind of system, and, making, 120,000 a month. That's kind of the long-term goal, but, you've got to start somewhere. I still love investing and day trading. And, I can give consultations and help people with how to start day trading. It's not very complicated. I literally just follow smart people. You're a product of your environment. So if your 5 friends are rich, you're probably going to be the 6th one. If your 3 friends are losers, you're going to be the 4th loser. So just remember that. I feel like I'm talking a lot, but I've had a lot of really good consultations lately, and people are frustrated with what to watch, what to do. We don't have time to watch 4-hour videos of 2 guys, butt slapping each other and making faces and goofing off and talking about how cool they are and look at all this code and I almost won this case, but oh man, the next time, blah, 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 this judge is corrupt. Yeah, okay. Yeah, good luck with that. So, it's just frustrating. Like I said, it's just, hearing people, do all this dumb stuff, get in trouble. And there's such an easier way to go about all this stuff. We're just making life way too hard. And I mean, I've done a lot of cool stuff. Like I said, we're currently doing a remodel on the house. We just got new floors, doing a whole new kitchen area, the dining room, doing a whole new kitchen here. We had some water damage from our AC go out. But, another cool thing I've done, guys, I put in a $75,000 pool in my backyard with loans that I discharged. Paid for the pool, discharged the loans. Had this pool for like 7-8 years. It's just, I built a shop at the end of my driveway. I've got a 5-car garage, and I used my credit to, develop this stuff and develop systems to make me money. And, we just have to learn how to access our capital and how to do things. I mean, it's not that hard, guys. It's just, we just have to stop spinning our wheels and fighting over every little bill. Everyone wants to fight their monthly bills and do all this, and you're just creating more problems. And it's just a waste of time. And I call it sending love letters. So I got a $30,000 unsecured loan. I built that shop. It's full of tools. I've got a workout area in there. I've got a golf cart. I got a 100-inch TV. Live on an acre. I mean, life is good. I've used my credit to make me money. And I tell everyone, you hear rich people all the time. They don't use their own money to become rich. They use other people's money. They use the bank's money. They use credit. They do all that stuff. And that's what we're doing. But, we have a secret. We can discharge the loans. And so you're getting free seed capital. Just be smart about it. And like I said, I'm here to help you out. Do whatever you need. And let me know, guys. Like I said, start your journey better. This is a better, smart way to start your journey. And like I said, just don't spin your wheels. Let's get straight to it. Let's start making some money. And there's Bailey. You want to go outside, Bailey? You want to play ball? I know. It's rainy and cold. I know, Bailey. Pretty girl. So yeah, guys. So like I said, I'm John. I'm a very, very successful individual. I've had a great career. I've had a good life, and I'm here to help people. So, I'm not one of those crazy lunatics who lives in an apartment, lives in a family basement or something, or a mobile home, or whatever. I'm successful, and I do a lot of good things. I help a lot of people. I'm here to help you. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of do like a little weekly update of what I have going on, and kind of the main issue in all my consultations with the car discharge process is it takes a long time with my Raptor that I have. I mean, it's been about 13 months now, and I still have not heard anything from the bank. I still have the Raptor in my backyard. Yeah, in fact, I'll show y'all the Raptor. It's back here. We've had some tornadoes come through lately, so I got a little bit of wind damage in the backyard. But yeah, so the Raptor, it's taken, it's been 13 months and I haven't heard anything from the bank. So hopefully, you know, any time now, I'll get a 1099C. So there's the Raptor. Yep, just sitting back there chilling. I drive it every now and then. So yeah, so guys, just waiting on that from the bank. But also, like I said, it's not my main vehicle. I've got 4 other vehicles. I've got a minivan, RAV4, F-250, another Raptor. So it's not my main vehicle, and I don't recommend doing the process on an everyday vehicle. So just take that into consideration. Do it on a secondary fund vehicle, and only do it if you can protect it with a camera on it. So I got a camera in my backyard, and I can see everything back there. So that's kind of been the main issue this week, or the past couple of weeks, is people are trying to discharge their main vehicle, and that's just not worth the stress or the battle. And this is too long. This is 20 minutes. So that's I'm gonna wrap it up with that, guys. Enjoy the video. I'll start doing some more, but yeah, that's the latest update on my Raptor. Still have it. I'm still waiting on a 1099C. It's probably the longest this process ever takes. Usually it takes 8 months or so. Going on 13 months, a little frustrating, but it's no big deal. I think as soon as I discharge it, I'm going to sell it and buy 4 or 5 cars and get them rented out, making $4,000 or $5,000 a month. So, guys, feel free to comment. I don't know if I'll respond. I'm busy. Have a good day.